Innova'sion, votre émission pour tout savoir du monde de l'entrepreneuriat.
Hello, this is Mathias for Innova'sion. Special edition today from Mipcom in Cannes, the biggest market for TV and media content in the world. In this series, I talk with top leaders who are shaping the future of the industry. Today, I am happy to introduce Javier González, VP of Content Strategy and Partnership at Unicorn Hunters, a unique business show on Amazon Prime that lets people invest in new startups together with famous investors. Now, let's listen to our conversation.
Hi, my name is Javier González, and we're conducting an interview just for you to have sometimes get lost. Okay, so I'm here with Unicorn Hunters, and we are kind of a unique show in many ways. So let me tell you the story from the beginning. Our founder, Silvina Moschini, she's one of the most famous entrepreneurs in Latin America. She is the first woman to build $1 billion company in Latin America. And she's famous, she's done different TV shows, and she was offered 1 million times to be in Shark Tank, the Latin American version. But her question was always, can I choose the companies that go to the show? Because in the companies that I see on TV, I wouldn't invest in those companies because they're great for the show, because they're like fun or something or goofy to watch. But they don't have scalability. They don't have the real values that she's looking for in companies and a bunch of things. So at some point she decided to do a show like that, and she got together with Steve Wozniak, the co-creator of Apple, with Rosy Rios, who used to be the former treasurer of the United States. And just as an anecdote, in the United States there's $2.2 trillion in cash in circulation. The signature of Rosy Rios is in 1.5 trillion. So if you have $1, most likely it's signed by her. So big people like that, like behind this, there's like big people in business that are famous, but like some are famous, but are also famous for what they do, not just celebrities. So they did this show, and what they wanted to show is the real, to be more authentic, to be more real in what the journey of an entrepreneur is, and how they pitch to an investment panel. What happened is during the pandemic, like the first season of the show, it was done during the pandemic. So all of a sudden there was so many restrictions. The show, if you see it now, it's all inside the studio because you couldn't travel at the time. We had some companies that were going to be in the show, but their countries got in lockdown and they couldn't get out. But we had, like, during the first season, 17 companies, and to those companies, $280 million were funneled to their. So they got funded $280 million in total. Some companies got 50 million, other less, but
this is. Excuse me to cut you in the middle, but the money that invested exclusively the money from the judge, from the people.
No, not from the judge. And that's the twist of this show. Is imagine like a Shark Tank, but on steroids we call it. And the twist is that people from home can invest on the companies. Oh. So it's an interactive show in that sense. We call it, there is a new genre in TV. We call it enrichtainment, like a show that you can invest and make rich. Why? The reason, because this show was created to solve two problems. Of course, to make it entertaining and everything. But Silvina, as an entrepreneur, she experienced firsthand how hard it is to raise money for certain entrepreneurs, women in particular, and people who are not in Silicon Valley.
But what is the financial vehicle that they use to allow me at home to send €200 to this company?
A crowdfunding platform.
Crowdfunding platform? All the money is coming from the viewers, or there is also money from the...
So in the first season, it's impossible to track exactly that, but I've been talking to the companies that were in the first season, and because it's a process that it takes months, right? Like to raise money. Yes. It's not like immediate, like when you vote on a TV show. But they started the fundraising with that, and before that, they all told me that it's like, no, I know the show helped me so much because I wouldn't be able to raise this amount of money without.
The question is, Steve Wozniak, in the TV show see a company that is loved, is also putting money on the table?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes, and
I know that there is also the viewers that can join the tour, but
yes, that is a tricky thing because it happens in Shark Tank a lot. In this case, Bosnia invested in some companies, and Silvina too. Yes, and everyone. But one of the things that happened, and we know this now afterwards in Shark Tank and a lot, that for the show they say they are going to invest, but then they look at the finances of the thing, they do the deep dive, and then they backtrack and they have problems with that and everything.
I read a statistic about that, something like 40% of the investment promised are not occurring in real life. That's the numbers?
So to us, I don't have that number.
There is a lot of deals that fall in?
I don't know exactly. That's a great question. I can find out and I can send it to you. But I don't know. And it's not so easy to track because for law in the United States, the way the show was done, the crowdfunding platform is an external thing. You cannot have both because then you have to be an accredited investor, and there's some complicated things for that.
So the innovation in this show is maybe the quality of the companies, maybe, and the opportunity for the viewers.
For the viewers,
that's your main difference with the Shark Tank that I know, or the Who is going to be my associate in France, you know.
Yes, for the first season. Now in the second season, we are changing the format because we don't have the restrictions from the pandemic. So now we're going to do what we initially wanted to do, which is have 2 companies per show. So let's say an episode about biotech. So both companies are going to be from biotech. We will get to know the companies where they are, like what in their countries. If one, let's say, is from India and the other one is from Argentina, we get to know their founders, why they do this, like the reason behind it. Because all these companies, they are aimed to change the world, to bring solutions to problems that are gonna move forward the world. So we get like the ideas for the viewers to empathize with the companies and with the founders in a way that you are almost conflicted. Like, oh, I like this guy, but I think this guy has a better idea, or this girl, this woman.
How many companies in the second season?
So 12 episodes, 24 companies. Okay. And the idea is not just that. It's both companies are going to compete, right? And the panel is also not going to be like in Shark Tank that I choose to invest or not, and you choose no. It's going to be they all have to vote, and they act as an investment group. So there's going to be discussions between them.
This is one yes or one no, not a standalone one from any investors.
No, so in one episode, like there's 2 companies, they have to choose a winner, and that takes the investment from them. Then people from home can invest in both companies. But what we are looking for is that debate of...
So at least they put money on 12 companies, 1 per episode?
That's the idea. And then there will be the best one of the season. Like, you know, the one that they crown, this is the best one that we had in this season.
12 episodes and then a final episode to choose the best one?
Like, we can do a final episode, but that will put us in 13. But no, the idea is to just name it, and maybe that will be the season finale. We organize them because it doesn't have to be first episode, second episode. Like we organize the best one for last, or we'll see when we film it. We'll see the quality of the companies and all of that. But
you already film 1 episode from the season 2, the pilot?
No, we are going to film in February. So we're here to find distribution in different countries, in different platforms.
The first season was good, get good distribution?
That was the thing, because it was during the pandemic, everything became very challenging. So it was done, and then it was distributed. Like there was not a partner for distribution beforehand. So that's what we're trying to do now, because we can adapt the content like to the platform precisely. So the first season was distributed well enough. It was in 56 countries, like in different platforms and everything. Now what we're trying is to make it worldwide, like to have way more countries and stronger platforms. And we're also doing a lot of ancillary content around it, like podcasts and stuff.
But now we are in October 2024. How's the business? How is Mipcom? Is good venue?
Yeah, I mean,
good
yesterday was the first day, and we are getting an amazing reception. We're talking to a lot of people. It's a unique proposition in a way, because an interactive show, so it's kind of complicated in that sense, because it includes the investment, and so people have to understand the business proposition of it.
How you can combine? The show is not live. You have to record it and to make
it, yes.
It's obvious. But how you can combine this show that is not live with the live interaction of the viewer. This is what sounds me a bit tricky.
It is 100% tricky. But what happens is this financing rounds is not like when you vote on a TV show for the winner of the dancing, whatever. These things take months, right? So what we're doing is almost the start of the thing is when the show is released. Then we're gonna follow the journey of the entrepreneurs making the unicorns, and it depends on how much money they're trying to raise each company. It can take more months or less. We are not just a media company that does the show. We also have a sister company that is a venture studio that helps these entrepreneurs, mentors them, brings them the connections they need, the investment they need. And we are also have another one that is an investment club. And now we are in partnership with Qatar, and we for the investment part of it, not for the show, but for the investment club. So because Qatar, Silvina, our founder, is the ambassador of innovation for Qatar. She was named. She's Argentinian, but she's super well connected. And that part of the world, the Middle East, has a lot of investment, but we find amazing companies all over the world. So we want to bring them there, give them access to that pool of money, so they flourish. Because what we found is that there's fantastic entrepreneurs all over the world that they don't have access to capital. So this show tries to democratize the access to capital for entrepreneurs, and at the same time democratize the access to companies before they go public to the public. Because, and the example we always talk about, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably you know more about this, but there was a person who invested $5,000 in Uber before it went public, and then it was $5 million it turned. So that's when you have the real opportunity. A lot of risk too, right? But with the panel and the analysis they do and everything, the companies they created, we work with innovator hubs and accelerators like Google for startups, Microsoft for entrepreneurs, all of the accelerators to select these companies, to find them, so they are more curated. There's always risk in every investment, but this is real serious, not like the show for TV only.
You shoot in Argentina? You shoot in Argentina?
No, the first season was shot in LA it was produced by Creative Prestige, which is the executive producer of The Masked Singer.
Oh yeah.
And the second season, we don't know.
So the first was shoot where?
In LA, in Studio City, in CBS Studio City, in Los Angeles.
Okay. And now the second one is planned in February,
It's planned in February, depends on several factors. We might shoot it in Qatar. They have this place called Media City, which is spectacular, state-of-the-art. Qatar. But depends. We are also planning...
So you're planning to fly entrepreneurs that are innovative all around this world to Qatar?
Mm-hmm. And Qatar is an amazing place. I didn't know so much about this before. They are so ready for innovation. They have so many initiatives, so many good. We're finding that is way more accessible for entrepreneurs, that market, than the US. The US. It has still things, but it goes really slow. For example, right now in the US, everything is stopped till after the elections, because depends on what happens in the elections. It's kind of crazy.
Qatar is a very special place with a lot of restrictions. The law is quite tough. I know the money is well there,
but there's not that many restrictions.
But for entrepreneurs, it can be. If someone have any opinion about that, Qatar is not the best neutral place. If you told me, Mathias, I will shoot in Sharjah, in Dubai, Dubai is really open and a lot of a real investor area, and I think that
depends on the
stereotype on Dubai, fallen in the 10 last years, we see that. Everyone can do business. But Qatar is not like this.
It is in many ways, depends on the industry and the market. For example, they are...
No local market.
There's no crypto.
There is no local market.
There's no local market because they are very few people.
There is no local market. There is no crypto. There is, entrepreneurs can be also girls, and there is a lot of restriction when you're a girl in Qatar.
Not that much, and especially not for entrepreneur. Our founder is the head of, is the ambassador for innovation, and she's a woman, and she tells you the story, she honestly says no, those are myths to her. This is really a country that is pushing innovation, that want to move forward, and they have a way more open mentality than other places. In our experience, I'm not in the government there or anything, I don't know. But honestly, I'm not joking here, I'm not trying to sell the country or anything. It's surprising, but I promise, it's true. I was shocked too at the beginning. I couldn't believe it, but it's working. Our founder was there last week, and the amazing meetings she had and everything, the deals that they're making, everything is honestly very, very impressive. It's like every country, they have their restrictions. In the US, there's a lot of restrictions. Also the SEC is very, for example, with the crypto in the US, there's no legal way to do crypto in a way. There's no legal ways,
but this is not that easy as it was 5 years ago. Those restrictions are here to also protect the people. There was a quantity of scam and money stolen that is unbelievable. So I prefer a country that said no to crypto under a lot of restriction, than a country that say take everything you want, and we know you maybe lose money in crypto.
But it's not for that. It's, in the US, the crypto thing it's not because of the scams and everything. It's because the power of the dollar. It's the power of the dollar.
No, it is a money laundering pivot. It is very easy.
Depends on who's doing it. That's the thing. When you have that problem, you regulate, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no money laundering. When you leave it to the wolves, it's almost like the drug wars. The drug wars have not stopped people consuming drugs, right? But they have created that massive crime organized. Similar to this, if you leave it with no regulation nor anything, people are going to still invest in crypto, but there's no safe way of doing it because there's nothing that is kind of regulated in a way. Other countries have jumped to the opportunity of regulating it, controlling. The European Union is putting regulation in place. The US is at the moment. No one is doing it. Mark Cuban was talking about it the other day. That was a shame that the US there's no entity has been able to get regulated properly in the US. Actually, one of the commissioners, if I'm not mistaken, of the SEC was talking about it the other day. That there are 4 or 5 commissioners, and one of them was what we're doing with crypto is a shame.
You already started the screening of the startup for the next season?
Sorry?
You already started the screening of the startups
yes,
for the
next
season?
Opened the registration? The registration, yes, and people can go to our website, unicornhunters.com, and apply there with their company, and we're looking at companies all over the world.
Which field you target?
So we're targeting biotech, health tech, fashion tech, tourism tech, Web3, and what's the other one? Yeah, and those.
AI?
Yes, but AI applied to things, not just AI, yes. In a way. Yeah, but anything that is innovation, they should apply, because we are still.
And what are the criteria? If I have a startup and I want
yes.
to listen about it, I am a young guy maybe thinking about it. There is a minimum scale, minimum money raised before, no money raised before, minimum size, revenue, income, debt.
Yeah, so that's a formula that is more complicated for me to what I can say. But generally,
which kind of companies
that have the potential to become billion-dollar companies. So normally there are companies that are already have they already been have investment. They already have some sort of product or MVP that is reasonable. They already have maybe some clients. We're not looking for anything that is preceding or normally they have already done a Series A and or things like that. Depends on the market that they are, depends on the countries. Is more complicated. But we have an amazing group that analyzes that. I'm more in the TV part of it.
What is your position in the company?
I'm the VP of content and strategic partnerships.
So the strategic partnership is Qatar this year.
Well, that's one, but it's not the.
What is the
that's not the area I cover. For me, strategic partnerships of content of TV, like distributors, like what I'm doing here at Mipcom, exactly.
Okay, it's clear. And what is your if you can tell a bit about you?
Yeah, of course.
In your career.
So I'm originally born and raised in Spain.
Oh.
Yes, I'm from Santiago de Compostela.
Saint-Jacques de Compostela.
Yeah. And so I grew up there. I went to study in Madrid, and I study what in Spain is called audiovisual communication. Mm-hmm. And then in Spain, the way it works is you specialize. Mm-hmm. You can specialize in at the time it was like journalism, TV or film. Mm-hmm. I did TV. Mm-hmm. And I was the luckiest person ever. Before I even finished college, I started working for MTV in Spain. And I worked there for years. And at the same time, I have a weird profile because I've always been a very digital person. Mm-hmm. But I also, because I enter soon, I have the TV broadcasting. So I'm in the corner of those two things. That nowadays there's way more people like that. But back in, this is 20 years ago, there was not that many people who were in that corner. So I worked for a million things, a million TV networks and everything. And then I went to did a master's in screenwriting in the US, in California, in LA. And went back to Spain, worked a little bit more for MTV, and decided to move to the US, change everything. And I was very lucky, and I started working for NBC Universal there. Mm-hmm. I spent years working for NBC Universal. Mm-hmm. Then I did another complete switch, and I started working for this company that does MMA shows, mixed martial arts, and that was really fun. And I did it because it was fun. Because
I love MMA. I personally think that is really, really, really entertaining.
It is.
UFC.
Exactly. Look, our company, the one I work, was one of the co-creators of UFC that ended up building this company more for the Hispanic world. But it was similar to UFC, but in a smaller scale. And we took it globally, and it went really well. For me, it was fun because we were doing a 5-hour long show in English and in Spanish. We were in 89 countries of something that is completely unpredictable. Like we had one day a fight that it was 7 seconds, and now what do you do?
Yeah,
so it was very adrenaline. Like I used to do the shows and then go home and couldn't sleep of all the adrenaline. I would be like watching my ceiling for an hour. So it was really fun. And then this opportunity came along. This company is very unique in that sense because it was not a traditional media company. It comes from the entrepreneur world, from the investment world, but they are. The idea is we're trying to really revolutionize the way TV works. At this point, all I hear is in the US, people are saying the sentence I hear the most is "survive 2025," because everything is changing so much. Yep. And another fun sentence that I'm hearing a lot is because TV dollars. When they come to digital, everything is going to digital, right? But TV dollars in digital become cents.
Yes, right.
So everybody is freaking out in a way, and what this company is bringing is a different business model in a way, because the show is financed in a completely different way. Because the show, what it does is it takes equity from the companies to help them to build their own show and to help them raise money. The same way accelerators do when entrepreneurs. What happens is the show, because you are making them raise money, the valuation of the companies goes up. So your portion of the company also goes up. So it's you make money in a way even before the show is aired in a way. And the more distribution you have, the more people can invest in the companies. And that's a revenue that didn't exist in television before. Normally you create a show, and if it's good, and people like it, and it's a gamble. This minimizes that, and is quite interesting in that sense. But at the same time, it's also trying to make the world a better place. It's not just about that. It's the companies that are in the show. I'll send you the first season. They're all have a purpose, and it's wonderful.
So I have a last question, and then I will cut. We will, I think, say finished, but. You say that there was only one season that was shot in the pandemic. The pandemic was 5 years ago. Why such delay? And coming back in 2025?
Yes, because the technology market went down after. And there was some like the founders of this company have other companies, and they were doing other things, and they were just too busy. The market wasn't there. Like, they wanted to rethink the show to make it better, like from the first season. And it was a project that they did, but now they're like, okay, we can do this much, much better with what we learned from the journey of the companies from there. This is interesting. All the companies that were in the first season, they are alive today and thriving. All of them, which is, for entrepreneurs, it's a great metric. It's like they part of it is they brought me to the company because I'm a TV person and they were not. So we are now rethinking everything.
Team of how many people?
So there's the parent company, like, because we are several companies, but the parent company is around 70 or 80 people in total.
That's enough.
It's not that big, but it's nice.
Okay, my friend.
Thank you so much for everything.
Innova'sion, votre émission pour tout savoir du monde de l'entrepreneuriat.